Well, nothing replaces well-located real estate. So if you have a phenomenal site that everyone wants to be at, you're just the prettiest girl at the dance. And so that's a really good place to be. That real estate is really hard to find because everyone's looking for it.
Yeah.
That's the baseline, right? If you control really quality real estate, you're in the best position you can be in.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Nick Jones, is a commercial value add investor active across multiple segments from industrial parks to QSRs. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dylan. I'm excited to be here and have a conversation with you.
The multifamily space, commercial, anything I would say that are larger deals right now, and I was mentioning this to you before hopping on the show here, does seem to be getting a lot of traction. I know, and listening to some of your other podcasts, that you're active in the QSR space, quick service restaurants, right? That's the acronym there. And I haven't actually spoken to too many folks who are in this space, simply because to me it seems like a more challenging, somewhat riskier space to be in. And then you also have to find the tenants in these deals. How did you get specifically into the QSR space?
I originally got into the QSR space due to the relationships I had getting out of college. So I went to UCF, University of Central Florida, go Knights, and I was in the real estate program. So when I graduated and went into brokerage. And a lot of the other guys and girls in my program got into brokerage as well. At some point, I realized I wanted to be a developer, an investor. I just really liked going into the extra detail that requires of that. So when I was a broker and we'd, sell a building or a piece of land, like I wanted to keep on talking to the guy that was buying it through his renovations. So eventually I started doing that on my own. And my buddies who were, brokers and whatnot, they were the ones that said, well, we have a tenant that is trying to expand in Central Florida, which is where we're located. And so if you find something that makes sense, you can work with them. And so, then I'd go out and start to look for sites. And if I found something that a tenant wanted to go into, I'd do a deal. And once you start to understand the deal dynamic, there's a, basic framework for, QSR or retail development. And they all look pretty similar. It's challenging at first. Definitely, it's very different than the multifamily space or some of the other types of real estate where you don't have such a strong partner.
Right.
Because in the QSR space and in retail in general, your partner, who's your tenant, is one of the biggest factors of the whole deal. And in multifamily, you don't have that. In small bay industrial and hotels, there's no dominating partner that is going to be there for 20 years, 15 years.
Sure.
Where in what we do, like, if my tenants call, I'm answering, right? They're as big a part of the deal as I am, as big a part of the deal as a lender is. They're just another person at the table.
When we talk about attracting those tenants, especially for folks who may be newer developers, is this as much about having those relationships ahead of time as it is the development itself? Or when you have the development in the area that is needed, the tenants come?
Well, nothing replaces well-located real estate. So if you have a phenomenal site,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
that everyone wants to be at, you're just the prettiest girl at the dance. And so that's a really good place to be. That real estate is really hard to find because everyone's looking for it. So, that's the baseline, right? If you control really quality real estate, you're in the best position you can be in. Second to that is having strong tenant relationships so that you can, talk to them. And if they're looking at opening, 5 sites across a region and, there's 10 locations they can pick from, if you have a possible previous relationship, they may pick yours to be one of those 5 rather than, another site in another submarket. The relationships matter to them because they want to know that you're going to reduce the friction of them opening a location. They don't care about your zoning issues, your utility issues, any of that stuff. They just want to open locations and they want to do it as efficient as possible with as least headache as possible. And so the value of us to them is just that we try to reduce that friction and make it a smooth process for them to open more stores.
Do you remember that first deal in the QSR space, how you found the property and then how you found the tenants?
The first deal in the QSR space was my first deal. And I was talking to some of my friends who were in brokerage as well. And one of them, a gentleman who still is, Billy Rodriguez, he's at JLL in Orlando. I was talking with him just about his tenant that was expanding across Florida called La Granja. And they, were looking in a submarket of Popka. We found a Taco Bell that was out there that was had closed down, so it was a vacant QSR space, and they were interested in that market. So I went forward and tied it up. And at the time, debt rates were phenomenal. So I worked with BB&T on that deal, and I had floating rate at 2.5%, 80% loan to cost. So it was incredible
Wow.
debt, really high leverage.
Yeah.
Everything in the market was just on the up ramp at that point. But negotiated with La Granja and got a long-term lease, a 10-year lease, and all I had to do was replace the roof and the HVAC units. So it seems like now that's just a walk in the park deal. But
Yeah.
at the time, I was cutting my teeth, and it was probably still one of the hardest deals I've done because your real estate's entrepreneurial. And so
Yeah.
as you're going through the process of, okay, well, I have to find my roofer, I have to get, different quotes. Then you have to figure out, do you want to do a TPO roof or a, PVC roof or, modified bit? And then you have to determine, okay, well, after I do the roof, I got to find an HVAC vendor, got to open the permits, then close the permits out. Somewhat simple stuff, in my mind now, because I've done it so many times. But it was a lot of unknown, a lot of, challenges that I put on myself for it. But there was a lot of positive momentum in the market in general at that time. Like I said, interest rates were low. People were really starting to invest again. We were coming out of the recession. And so it was just a good time to do it. And, I made some right choices, but I also had some luck on my side as well.
Which area of the country? Was this Florida?
It was Florida, Central Florida.
Okay. So walk me through after that deal. Were you like, okay, I love the QSR space now. I just had this huge accomplishment. This is going to be where I'm going to, build a career in. Or was this almost like, wow, that was a ton of effort. Let me see how this one goes before I do another one.
So I'm still at the point in my career where I chalk effort up to, growing my knowledge. And I think at some point everyone transitions where I say, okay, well now I want to have the effort part, decrease and just be able to flow through, what I'm working on. But every deal, we're still learning. And now we're just doing, the same types of deals, but bigger. So we're still going through that process. But after that first one, It was just exciting to see, the restaurant open.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
After it opened, we went there with, our brokers, with our lender, went and had lunch. And I've never been so excited to see, a fast food restaurant open. And so, I wanted to continue to grow and do more deals like that and diversify through those types of deals. So the next deal is we found a single tenant surf shop over near Disney
Wow.
that we cut up and converted into a 3-tenant strip center, and one of them being a restaurant, Tijuana Flats. And once again, I mean, that was a really challenging deal going through that process because you're learning as you go while not trying to, mess up.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was really educational through those first few deals. I wouldn't recommend anyone doing it on their own. I'd recommend, going and working with the developer, either partnering with someone, it's a little more
But you were doing it on
experienced.
your own.
Yes, I went down that direction. I went on my own.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you a granular question about doing it on your own, if I may. So, somewhat selfishly, even I am a EXP realtor licensed in Texas, and I'm looking at representing some commercial buyers. And this is my first time going about this. I would even say that on some level, the not on some level, it's just this is how it is. As a realtor, there's the commercial world and then there's residential single family. And they're like in two totally different spheres. It seems like oil and water, people don't necessarily want them to mix, right? And that's kind of the feedback that I'm getting, which I find interesting. Would you say, based on your experience, that you can push forward through some of these obstacles? Or is that such a great risk? Like there may be so much riding on it that you really do need to have someone there to hold your hand and guide you through the process based on your experience.
Well, things are very different now. I mean, just having ChatGPT in your pocket, makes everyone an expert. So when I was going through it, I was reading books. I was doing, real estate development books. I was doing like online seminars through ULI and ICSC. And that was really where I was, kind of trying to cut my teeth through, other people's knowledge. It seems that right now there's so much material out there and so many people willing to share. And, like podcasts weren't really a thing yet. And these podcasts, I listen to podcasts all the time because you just get people that are so raw and they're, spewing out really how that they're doing things. And the amount of just shared knowledge in the industry right now is pretty incredible. So I think it's different now where people can do it. I just think that you should caution and make sure that you're thinking through all the decisions, and you're also working with people that you believe you can build a strong relationship with, because everyone's kind of looking out for each other's back. If it's our contractor, our phase one environmental consultant, our surveyor, all of us know that our mutual success rises all of us, rises the tide. And so it's finding a good team around you so that if you're the person that is new, your team isn't. And you're just the one new person while everyone else has done this, several times before. That's another really good tactic to ensure success.
It sounds like while although you may have been working through a lot of these issues on your own, you also had momentum from the friends that you had from being in school and having experience in real estate in that regard. So in a way, although this was brand new to you, you also probably felt, correct me if I'm wrong, like I've got a support network of people in real estate, at least to bounce ideas back and forth.
Agreed. Yeah. At first, you kind of just try to find your way through, at least I did. And, built relationships with people that, some stuck. And as they stuck, they got deeper. As I look back now at probably the reasons for some of our success, it was selecting the right relationships and, having people that knew the long-term goal was to, really be partners and that we could all work together and that there was a lot of loyalty to that. So a lot of the people that I worked with, like I said, my engineers, architects.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Lenders, consultants. I've worked with, for 8 to 10 years now
Yeah.
because, we just kind of know how each other think and we have each other's back, through all of it. So, earlier on, one of the things that I did, which, I wasn't really conscious of it. It was just kind of the way that I wanted to grow was I reached out to a lot of these people before I really had deals and was just chatting with them about, what they were doing, how we could work together. And brokerage gave me a good opportunity for that because it was like a way in the door. I could say, well, we're selling some land. So can I talk to this civil engineer and talk about, well, when we bring in a buyer for this land, what do you see having been done? And then when I became a developer, I already had that relationship with that engineer that was built in. So it was a lot easier for me to make that transition. So
The
I wouldn't be
relationships. Yeah.
yeah. So I just want to finish that thought. I wouldn't be afraid to talk to people ahead of time and start to build those relationships like before you have the deal. Because then when the deal comes, there's time constraints, you're starting to spend money. And so if you already have those relationships starting, it helps quite a bit.
I want to talk Florida and how a lot of investors that I see are looking across state lines. They're looking at investing in Florida from outside of Florida, but then also you have investors who are saying we're agnostic on area. If it's a deal, if it underwrites, we'll go there. Do you focus on Florida? Are you going across the country? And what's your perspective on investors who invest commercially across multiple different markets?
Well, I don't see a downside to investing across multiple different markets as long as you understand the risk variables of those investments. We grew our firm investing mostly in Florida because when we started to measure, risk of our investments, which is kind of the name of our game, right? We're all just measuring risk every single day and trying to make sure that we don't get caught in an asymmetrical situation that we have a lot of downside. Being local in Florida, we really know the municipalities, we know the demographics, have relationships of various vendors across the state. And so for us, expanding across the state was a lot easier than just going outside the state right away. Also, what's great about Florida, if I'm going to give a little Florida pitch, is that when you have an asset here, your buyer pool is really the majority of the world. We have buyers from most countries in South America, Asia, Europe, the rest of the United States. It's a very friendly business environment. And so that provides more liquidity when you want to exit your investment than an investment in another state. And us being in a very illiquid type of, industry, real estate, that makes a difference when you need to transact and create velocity of, buying and selling or developing deals. So I live in Florida and that was a lucky, scenario. But I've really enjoyed investing in the state and I think it's a positive state for real estate. And there's a lot of growth. All the major, national brands from, tenants, developers, everyone's in the state as well. But we have started to go outside of it with relationships. So we'll follow tenants. We're working with some tenants in the Southwest. And so
Okay.
we're expanding with them across the Southwest. And we made that jump because, we had the tenant relationship. And so that was something that was really important to us because in retail, like I said before, your tenant's your biggest partner. And so if as a team you're going there, if things come up, you can kind of work on them together, unknowns.
Are you
But
active in
we are expanding in Arizona right now. Yes.
I've said this before that there's some similarity that I can't quite uh, put words on between Arizona and Florida. I don't know what it is exactly, but everyone in Arizona seems to be having a great time. They seem to be relaxed. Florida, same thing. I kind of liken Arizona to like desert Florida, like similar vibe, but the desert. So I don't know what it is, but that doesn't surprise me that you're active in Florida and Arizona.
Well, in Phoenix, it's just a crazy market. I mean, Phoenix just keeps on growing. They they fell pretty hard in the recession, but since then, it's like there's just so much land there. You can just keep on going out further and further out. That valley's massive.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I haven't done a deal in Arizona, but based off all the guests that I've had, it really, I think, is an amazing opportunity. And like you said, there's just tremendous growth out there. We are coming up on time here, though, Nick. Where can folks go if they're interested in reaching out to you? Maybe they have a deal they'd like you to take a look at. How can folks get in contact with you or your team?
So the best way, well, there's two ways. So first is you can go to our website and you can click on, connect with us and send us an email. And we love to chat about deals. We partner with other sponsors, general partners. We bring in investors for each one of our deals. We syndicate them each individually, and we just love to talk shop. So if there's something that someone wants to talk to us about or questions, we love to go over that. We also are very heavy on education. So we have a lot of material that I'll put out on LinkedIn or in blogs that just talk through our process, our structure, whether that be underwriting a deal, underwriting a sponsor, just really systemizing some of the processes that people don't really think about. And so that's been a big push of us recently. So our website is Alakai-Capital. So it's www.alakai, which is ALAKAI-capital.com. Or I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I love to connect with people on there as well. So you can find me on LinkedIn /Nick Jones Real Estate. And on either one, we get back pretty quick.
Nick, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.